Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show where a man completely immersed in anime culture torments his co-host, who is only allowed to watch the shows featured here. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so at patreon.com/animeoutofcontext. Alongside over 100 hours of exclusive bonus material, all episodes uploaded to Patreon are completely ad-free, even to non-patrons. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And Mario is my favorite waifu.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Happy Halloween, Remington. On this
baby.
November 1st, technically, when this officially comes out.
But hey, it's always spooky season, all right? We're very close to Halloween. Happy to celebrate. It's the best time of year. It's the best time of year.
It truly is. And you've had a pretty spectacular spooky month so far. Lots of low-rated stuff, but you had a good time with that low-rated stuff.
Yeah, it's been enjoyable trash mixed with a little bit of actual quality.
Yeah, and all things considered, that just means that we gotta bring the real Halloween spirit in for this special Halloween episode.
Now, I want to agree with that sentiment.
Yeah.
It is simply that, historically speaking, right, Halloween and spooky season on the podcast has been more hit or miss than it has any right to, because very often, instead of, the horror genre or spooky Halloween-y stuff, you focus on horrifying me in particular. So...
I mean, what can I say, Rem? I have the heart of a scarer in me. I like to provide fear whenever possible.
Sure.
I mean, you're very similar in that regard. Lord knows, anytime I have to record a new 12 Days of April Fool's episode, I panic a little.
Yes.
Because your horror is far more condensed, let's say.
Yeah, mine's more acute, more... it's happening less often, but it's more precise.
Correct. But Remington, this time I've got to ask a simple, classic question.
All right. I would love you if you were a worm.
Oh, that's unexpected, but thank you. I wasn't anticipating that, but you know what? I'll take it. No, Rem, the simple one is I gotta ask you. You've heard it once before. Will it have the same meaning this year? One can only imagine. Rem, trick or treat. It's come to tradition at this point, and I feel like it's very necessary.
All right. There's always the possibility of some double bluff bullshit.
And
or
you know what?
A proper bluff bullshit.
I'll even give you one question about the trick or the treat each, aside from the obvious meta question.
Okay. With the trick, I will ask, what year did it come out?
2008.
Okay. A rough time, I'd say right off the bat. For the treat, I will ask, which singular trope would you most classify the protagonist as?
I don't know if this is a specific trope in and of itself, but I'm going to put two words together and it should make enough sense. Innocent killer.
Ooh, okay. My thinking is, with this, 2008, I've received valuable info, and with one question, you got to work with the information you've received. 2008, pretty close to the dark times of anime, before most of them knew how to tell a story. I'm on the record saying that repeatedly. Meanwhile, Innocent Killer has some decent Halloween-y vibes, and there can be some interesting interplay if that is handled well.
Yeah.
So,
and I'll even give you the bonus information that a lot of people tout 2007 and 2008 as great years for anime.
Yeah, but that's the weeb saying that.
I mean, that is true. That is true, but hey, you can take whatever additional free information I give you however you want. I'm just offering things to help you out, really.
I'm gonna say...
And the controversy is, you also don't know what year the treat option is.
It could also just both 2008.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the treat option.
Okay.
Yeah, based on the information, that's what I'm gonna go with, and pray.
All right, so you're going with treat.
Yep.
And Remington, it's very kind of you to choose a treat.
Yeah.
A treat for our audience, specifically.
No, it was a simple bluff, not a double bluff.
Because, Rem, we're going to be covering a heavily requested show that people have wanted to see how you would react to, more or less. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Rem, content warnings abound. There's gonna be quite a few. Violence, SA, human experimentation, basically all the nasty stuff. All the nasty stuff that, if you have any kinds of sensitivities, maybe skip watching this anime. Because, Rem, you didn't ask what year this one came out. This one came out in the grand old year of 2004.
Oh my god, oh no.
So, that's a bit of a gray area for you, Rem, because can you name a single anime that came out in 2004?
No, but it was before they look. It was before they knew how to tell decent stories. It was I'm not optimistic. Things have taken a turn.
Yeah. I will say, in 2004, one of the best drama mystery series came out in the spring, simply called Monster. Fucking love that anime. It's great. First season of Bleach came out in the fall. A lot of people love Bleach, and there are some other good things. During the summer of 2004, specifically when this came out, though, there's Girls Bravo, which you know nothing about, and quite frankly, don't know if there's ever going to be a reason to show it to you, because it is just 2004 horny nonsense. So you can put some imagination in there. Haven't watched it myself, aside from knowing that fact, so hard to say. And it was from a time where there weren't as many things coming out per season, because we live in a day and age where we have lots of things coming out as seasonals.
Shaun, actually, haha, I tricked you. Actually, I chose trick, and that was my trick, and I demonstrated it through a trick,
Oh, yeah, that's a shame, Rem. Because the good news thing, I will tell you, is this is the highest rated show from that season, except for one show that I am not familiar with, but it is a girls love anime from 2004, so I don't have the highest hopes for that one. But no, Rem, today we are going to be talking about... God, they're gonna butcher me for the pronunciation, so I'm just gonna do both. A lot of argument. The anime is simply titled Elfen Lied or Elfen Lied.
Okay, I've seen its name.
Yes, it has been in
I know people have recommended it like a motherfucker. I'm surprised that it's that old. That is older than most popular recommendations we get.
Yes. It has quite the reputation, Rem.
I don't like that phrasing of it.
Well, it is one of those anime that when people recommend, like, oh, you should watch this one, they either have just the most innocent, pure intentions, or they're curious to see how you react to the first episode.
I see. All right, I see.
It's one of those types of shows. And the synonym or translation is like elfin song, essentially.
Okay.
So whatever language Lied is in, I think maybe German, Lied. People will argue with me till the end of the earth of which pronunciation it is. Like, if I choose whatever the quote-unquote correct pronunciation is, there'll be a dozen people arguing for the opposite.
Yeah.
So, I may flip-flop between, because you can't please everybody, so if I mispronounce it equally as much, people will get equally angry at me. But I'm fairly certain it's Lied, because it feels Germanic to me. And our editor may be able to confirm that.
Wenn das Wörter im Englischen Song bedeuten soll, dann ja, dann wird es Lied ausgesprochen. If it was supposed to be pronounced lied, and the word was supposed to be German, then it would be L-E-I-D. German is much more strict on the pronunciation rules.
But what is it about, Rem? Well, it is about our main character, Lucy. Lucy is a what is referred to in universe as a diclonius.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, does that mean anything to you, Rem?
Well, of course, but you probably want to explain it for all the people who it doesn't make sense to.
Okay. She is essentially a human who has horns and invisible telekinetic hands.
Yes, of course. We were all on the same page there.
Yep. And the story opens up with, Lucy escaping from a horrific secret scientific facility where they were doing all kinds of nasty experiments on her.
Yeah.
And during that breakout, she gets hit with the classic. She gets hit in the head and has some of that good old-fashioned amnesia. Hence the innocent killer vibe.
Okay.
Yes. And since this is 2004, it does kind of leave her with a little bit of a, let's call it what it is. Like, it's a 2004 representation of a split personality.
Well,
Yeah, yeah. And during her like disorientated state, she stumbles upon a couple of college students who take her in and are just, blatantly unaware of the fact that, she has strong instincts to kill all those around her due to lots of nasty things that have been done to her, essentially. And that is the basic premise, and the story is whether or not, which side is really taking over, the tortured, murderous soul, or just the nice, sweet, innocent person that these two people have saved. And I'll tell you right up front, Rem, this anime was probably one of my first experiences with, like, raw, bloody anime violence and gore.
Yeah.
Because why people would recommend this is for the opening escape scene of Lucy fully breaking out. For a number of reasons, but mostly, I think, for the shock factor of what goes on in it. And really, Rem, people have recommended it because there are a lot of people who have fond memories of this series. And there's a lot of people who think it's, bunch of overrated garbage that had one very, distinct, memorable scene and got permanently cemented in the cultural zeitgeist because of it.
Yeah, that can happen, especially with more nostalgic things, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you just remember a couple of hallmarks from it, especially very vividly, then you'll sort of, as time goes on and a lot of the details get forgotten about, the vivid memories that remain sort of fill in the space, so that nostalgia ends up reading past feelings for things as the sum of its most memorable moments, which may not actually be indicative of its overall quality.
Yes. And let me tell you, when I say I saw loads of Lucy cosplayers back in the day, I saw loads of Lucy cosplayers back in the day. And it's just one of those shows that if you grew up in the the mid 2000s and 2010s, you couldn't really escape hearing about the show or having a friend be like, "Hey, you should watch this show. It's got a really interesting first episode type of vibe to it." And really, Rem, the treat is, of course, finally covering this show because it's been recommended for fucking ages, as well as people are curious to see how you will truly, truly feel about it. But once again, I do have to say, lots of content warnings for this, and it's from 2004, so you're probably going to guess that some things are not the most well handled.
Yeah,
if I'm being honest.
All right. Well, let's
jump
in and see.
Here, just to get you nice and hyped, here's what one of the posters for it looked like.
All right, let's see here. Looks extremely generic and a bit horny.
Fascinating.
I don't like that at all.
Well, Rem, one way or another, you're going to find out. So I think, without further ado, let's go watch for this Halloween the highly, highly requested Elfen Lied. And we are back after watching the entirety of the 13-episode series Elfen Lied. And Rem, tell me, is there value and merit in this show, or was it really all just that first episode that we passed around back in the day to just somewhat traumatize our friends?
I'm going to ignore your question. I'm going to ask a question of our listeners, all right?
Okay.
Because right now they have a little bit more information than I have. Namely, listeners, how long is this episode? Be honest with me. How long? How long is left in this episode? Because don't get me wrong, I got a hunch, but you can see it. You can see it right now. You know how long I'm going to talk about this, right? And I'd like that information.
You'd like to know. You'd like to know right now in advance.
Yeah, that'd be nice. That'd be swell. Because I had to watch a lot. Took a lot of notes.
Yeah, I mean, watching the whole thing made sense. Only 13 episodes, heavily requested, spooky Halloween. Very, very specific use of this show back in the day.
Yep.
I'm just curious to see how it will all shake out, quite frankly.
There's an important decision I get to make right now, right?
Uh-huh.
Before we get too far into it. That's sort of like how much do I summarize? How much do I sort of like cut and ignore? For example, right? There's one character, Mayu, right?
Yep.
She's
Exists.
in most of the show.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to say anything about her at any point.
Ooh.
I don't think that there's a lot of moments where she's relevant, and even when she's quote unquote relevant, it's just because another character is talking to her, giving like plot relevant stuff, right? It has nothing to do with Mayu. But then, if that's the precedent we're setting, right? Well, when we get down to brass tacks, only a couple characters are actually really relevant. and so it becomes a very slippery slope till eventually we're just like, yeah, there's Lucy and Coda, and I guess Bando needs to be talked about, which is wild. Like there's not a lot of well, let me so this show, it has an ensemble cast, and what I will say is that it uses its ensemble cast more and better than the vast majority of like shonen anime that I've seen do, right? It constantly will cut away to show some ensemble cast, even some like that you haven't seen a ton of, and it'll show you a bit of them. And that can be valuable and worthwhile. Asterisk, it would be more valuable and worthwhile if the ensemble had meaningful characters, or if the plot was good. If either of those were the case, then the structure, I think, could actually be very strong, and I'd be complimenting it quite a bit. But yeah, so it's just it's difficult to figure out.
Well, I can add a little more context to you if you like, Rem.
Sure. Why not?
Because Rem, this anime was made in the early 2000s, 2004, yeah?
Yeah.
And a thing that happened very frequently in the early 2000s was a lot of times anime would get greenlit and then start being produced, and then would be hyper condensed and throw in anime original endings at the end of things. And that is exactly what happened to Elfen Lied.
Oh man. Man, look, I'm in love with you. I don't even think that's the biggest problem. I don't think that probably on the grand scheme of things, it's not that that's a good move, right? We'll get to the ending and everything. It's probably a lateral move given the quality, generally speaking. All right, let's properly jump in and talk about it, I suppose.
Okay.
Starting with the opener. All right, the opener. Two major things to talk about with the OP. First is the opening song, which is an operatic, dramatic number, right?
Yep.
And it is their main motif. It plays an important role in the show itself. It is a solid song. That's a good ass song, right?
Yeah, no, Lilium is known as one of like the most iconic OPs from this era.
It's very good. It does get overused in the episodes, not just like when it's plot relevant, but like there were a couple episodes where it felt like it was just on loop and it got very repetitive very quickly, but generally speaking, solid song. Two, the visuals are styled after Gustav Klimt, which is an interesting move, and I was fascinated. I thought that was a bold play, and I was like, dope, cool. And I was interested to see how that, like, basically, like, oh, Klimt, that's a very specific choice to go there. I wonder why they decided to do that. And there isn't an answer. There's not, let me tell you right now, just, there's no good reason for it, which is a little bit disappointing. Klimt, like, he's known for opulence and eroticism, and while there's lots of titties in this show. It's not like peak eroticism, and certainly not opulence. So I don't know what the fuck they're going for Klimt. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I think that, along with the intro, along with quite a few other things, they want to give a greater sense of importance and grandeur than they earn. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And we will see that recur throughout. Also, of course, even within the opening, lots of titty, lots of nipples. You see that all the time. Sometimes I think that it's done okay. Like, for example, I think in episode 1, it's kind of done okay when it comes to nudity and whatnot. That will quickly fall away. That will quickly not be the case. We open up, a girl is caged, right? And this is Lucy, and there's lots of soldiers all around. It's a whole facility, and she's able to get free and kills a bunch of the soldiers with telekinetic powers, and it's the hands that are able to rip them apart. It's kind of interesting because we see one of the main things is more or less like either slicing or making people explode, right? Those are the two most dramatic ways that she and other that Cloney I suppose are able to use their powers. But that only ever happens when it doesn't show us the invisible hands that they have. It never wants to show how the invisible hands actually slice or explode. It doesn't want you to think too much about that. And even with the powers, it gets a little bit weird. But you know, you can explode a motherfucker at will or dismember them at will. Cool. She's escaping, getting away, kills just a bunch, just so many die.
Oh yeah, like an insane quantity of people are turned into a red mist in this opening scene.
Yeah. And a bunch of bullets being fired, which using her I'm gonna keep calling it telekinesis, even though it's hands, because I think for the most part they don't want you to think about it being hands, other than it having a range.
Mm-hmm.
Because like a bunch of bullets, it's not like these bullets are being like caught in invisible hands. It's just sort of the stereotypical you stop all bullets midair, right? It's force field a lot of the time. If it were showing you the invisible hands the whole time, a lot of the powers wouldn't make sense. It's telekinesis. She ends up getting shot, which just breaks off the sort of like big metal helmet she has going on. She falls into the ocean, and washes up on the beach. Meanwhile, we meet I'm going to say two of our protagonists. We have Coda, who is every bland bitch you've seen. He's just a swell guy. So we've described him. That's his whole thing. He's just a swell guy, and that is his whole character. And then we have Yuka, who likes Coda, and that summarizes her character. So now we understand those two. Yuka is one of the leads. We'll see how much we bring her up. She doesn't do anything. Not a single thing, I think, the whole time. I'm struggling to think when Yuka is literally ever plot relevant. Maybe we'll hit on a point. There's lots of episodes. It's possible, but I can't think of one right off the bat.
That's a fair assessment, if I'm gonna be honest, based on the anime.
Yeah. So, but she likes Coda. All right, she likes Coda a lot. They were childhood friends, and she was always crushing on him, and he was crushing on her, and then he went through some trauma, and now they're reconvened. That's basically kind of it. And we learned very briefly some implications about Coda's little sister, right? And how she gave him a shell at the ocean, blah blah blah. They're hanging out at the ocean when, of course, they see Lucy just there. They're like, oh shit, what's this girl with horns doing? I say horns. They're very cattier styled, all right? They're very, or even just like accessory.
What?
It's like, hey, let's not make this too obtrusive, all right? Let's make it look like you could just pin it into your hair, or that maybe it's just a cat girl. Don't worry about it.
What? It's definitely not like it was one of the most common cosplays back in the day.
It's like when somebody's like, oh yes, I have a severe burn or birthmark or etc., and then it's like very aesthetic, you know. And they're like, oh, I'm hideous, and it just makes them look cooler. Or the stereotype of just having heterochromia, and it's like, I'm a freak, and this certainly doesn't just make me a little quirkier. It's it's very much in that category, and we will see that emphasized later. So Lucy washes up, and they're like, oh, we have to make sure to take care, but now instead of being murderous, she's a toddler. She can only say new, and that's about it. And so they name her New. And look, it's I've talked about this stereotype before. Little robot girl bullshit, right? We do all the same thing. She doesn't know how to dress herself. She pisses herself, which is mostly just for shock value, which is not it's one of the lighter examples of that. They're getting you warmed up for the shock value, basically, right? And she doesn't know what food is, I guess. She doesn't know anything, so she has to learn everything. It's the same trope you've seen a million fucking times. It's all the same shit. And what annoys me about this trope, especially, Shaun, I know I've ranted about it plenty, but we have to follow the same step-by-step bullshit that this trope always follows, before we can get any meaningful character. Because they don't have any character until they learn a little bit more. And so you just you have to follow a script that everybody's seen a million times before any payoff, but the payoff is literally just the bare basics of characterization. Like, to reach step fucking 1. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. It's a bad trope. I don't like it.
It doesn't get any leniency for being written in 2002?
No. Because unfortunately that trope has been going on a long ass time.
What's the earliest example you can think of?
Oh God!
Because people are gonna ask, man.
If I had dedicated time to think about it, I could probably come up with an example. It's an interesting question in and of itself to figure out where the trope came from. I wouldn't know. Maybe TV tropes does.
I don't know. They're being a little cagey with their information these days. Block in anybody who has an ad blocker, for example.
Ah, shame. So they bring her in and start taking care of her and everything, right? But then New accidentally breaks the shell that Koda's sister gave him, and he gets angry, and Koda's pissed, and New ends up leaving because Koda is pissed. So that's episode 1. Look, there's a lot of edge for edge's sake. There's a lot of it's here for shock value. A lot of the vibes are like a Dungeons and Dragons DM who's like, no, I run a gritty and realistic campaign. And what that means is that there will be sexual assault and probably racism. Like, that's the kind of thing where it's like your concept of like gritty is skewed in very specific ways. And it's just here to be shocking more than anything, and that doesn't provide a lot of value. Don't get me wrong, I'm down with pushing envelopes and things being a bit more fucked and being like, hey, yeah, we're not gonna cater to your sensibilities, right? I think that's fine. But this isn't just, we have a story we want to tell and we aren't going to cater to your sensibilities. This is, haha, bet that really, really shocked you. Isn't that crazy? We're fucking crazy, dude. It's like, no. Especially now where, like, anybody has seen shit more intense than this, right? I'm sure, like, once again, for its era and blah, 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 it was like, oh, really shocking. And that's kind of like all it had going for it. Oh wait, well it's like, oh, I know that it's here's the review from Weebs 20 years ago, all right, Shaun?
Okay.
Yeah, I know that like it's really shocking, but underneath that, it's actually a really deep story because a bland bitch protagonist is stuck in a love triangle, and there's some elements of bittersweet story beats that hit. So, that means deep. But it doesn't. It doesn't mean that.
I don't think they'd use those exact words, but there was some similar things said back in the day.
Yeah. So, episode 2, the organization, they are training some soldiers, especially one soldier named Bando, and he's fucking crazy, dude. He just wants to kill, and they're gonna send them to hunt down Lucy / New. They're gonna get her, right? So they're doing in-depth training. What is not included in this training is a brief about what Lucy can do. You'd think, okay.
That'd be priority number 1.
Yeah, it's like they offed so many of our soldiers already. We need to send an elite crew of soldiers, and like number 1 on the list, make sure they know what the fuck they're getting themselves into so that they can neutralize and stop it, right? Because we've seen if you just send a bunch of guys with guns shooting at her, that doesn't work. So surely it wouldn't work if you just do that again. So they just plan to do that again. They don't tell anybody about her powers. They're just like, she got some kind of powers. Who knows? Like, they're coy about it. They're coy about it, but they do know. I want to clarify. The organization is well aware, right?
Oh yeah, no. They have been like conducting experiments on Lucy and people like Lucy for an indeterminate amount of time.
But they communicate it as if they don't know. They're like, yeah, there's some secret weapon that has a range of 2 meters. Who can say what it is? Who knows? It's like, why are we playing these games? They're gonna find out. They're gonna know.
And if they find out firsthand, well, they will find out firsthand, Yeah.
It genuinely
After it
just
removes their head from their body, mostly.
Yep. So Bando, he's fucking crazy, right? So he's eager at the opportunity. They send him and other soldiers in, and they show up. And Bando gets the jump basically on New, who Lucy's able to kill like a motherfucker, but when she's in her new form, can't do shit, right? Just naive, doesn't know what's going on. It's a toddler. And so you might think, oh, Bando actually has a chance, right? Because he very clearly could just shoot her. He could do this multiple times. He could do this. Coda shows up and Bando's like, I could shoot him too. Ends up just knocking Coda out, and he could, once again, as his mission entails, just shoot and kill Lucy. He doesn't. He drags her to an undisclosed random fucking location, further down on the harbor, I guess, where then he could just shoot her. He doesn't, because he wants to make it fun. You know that bad, annoying trope where you're like, oh, fuck. The important character should die now, right? Mm-hmm. Our main character should die right now. But we can't have them die, so I don't know, maybe the guy that's gonna kill her is just fucking nuts, and he's nuts in a way that he's violent, but he's not gonna kill you immediately. Maybe down the line, probably, generally, vaguely, but not in this moment, because he's crazy, right? That bullshit that almost never works and is always just a lazy excuse for plot armor. Yeah, we get that. It'd be a shame, Shaun, if this show tried to pretend that it was like some high stakes bullshit. But if they did this multiple times every episode or similar things to it, all right? Every fucking character that's shown to be hyper murderous, right? There's multiple characters who they kill on a dime. But then as soon as they meet another character with a name, who's the one they're hunting, they just don't. And it's very rarely, if ever, explained in a meaningful, good way. And so that's a little bit irritating. Something else that this show will do multiple times an episode, it's their favorite fucking thing. They love cutting to a different scene or cutting to some other characters and ending one scene heavily implying that somebody is dead, right? Somebody was killed. This happens all the time, but it loses a bit of its luster because genuinely, I can't think of a single time that they actually die with one of those. Every time it'll be like, you'll see a scene, somebody will raise up their pistol to somebody else's skull, right? And then it'll show the sky and you'll hear the gunshot and it's like, oh fuck, they're dead now. And then we'll get a scene of something else going on, then we'll cut back and it'll be like, oh no, they put the pistol in the air or some bullshit, right? And that's already a bad trope. They do that multiple times, almost every episode. And I don't know if they keep thinking that you'll fall for it, but like, no, I know how much plot armor every single fucking character has. You're not gonna kill a single fucking one of them. Not a fucking one of them. There'll be a character, Nana, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nana.
Who will show up later. Another Diclonius. This one not quite as strong as Lucy. They fake out her death at least half a dozen times. Good chance more. Where it's just like, oh, she's dead now. Oh, looks like she's actually not dead. What a surprise. But it's not a surprise. It's not a surprise because of course they're not gonna fucking do it. They're fucking cowards, alright? They're goddamn cowards. Anytime you see a character you've never seen before who's suddenly like, yes, I am important now, don't you know? And you're like, what the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you? It's like, oh, you're the fodder. They need to keep it lethal, but they can't touch any of the named characters. So they're randomly introducing somebody else so that they can be killed. It makes it one of the most predictable shows I've ever watched. I don't think there was a single thing that surprised me.
Not a single thing, huh?
Not really, no. It's once again it tries to lean into shock value, but it does so following every trope, and you will very quickly figure out its formula. All right, and when you figure out its formula, like it will just keep doing the same thing. It never deviates. It never subverts. And so anyway, in episode 2, they also start getting weirdly horny with Lucy because she's a toddler and Coda has to help her dress and undress, and oh my gosh, she has boobs, and whoa, I accidentally touched her boob. And it goes from like dark, twisted seinen to horny slice of life sometimes.
Yeah, that's correct.
And it's like, we're all just living in the same house, and whoa, what wacky shenanigans is going on. And it never feels like it works. It never, I'm always like, what the fuck? And meanwhile, fucking Yuka, it just gets jealous and is like, I think you like Lucy more than me. And oh my god, and now I'm jealous and angry, and the romance is all bad. The romance is fucking trash. They tried to do the little weird love triangle, but none of them have characters, and you shouldn't have a love triangle with somebody who is 50% toddler, 50% serial killer. That's not... Neither of those are great for romance.
No, they're really not.
And it'd be one thing if, look, there's a world where this is an interesting show because it has interesting concepts, all right? It's got some interesting concepts that you could explore about the experimentation and the powers, and sort of like it does get a little bit convoluted with the Diclonius. I guess there's a virus, but it is never relevant, despite being like the big thing. And Diclonius, they're set to exterminate humanity. And it's half like, oh, maybe that's the intended purpose if there is an intended purpose, or maybe that's just like a thing that happens. And then there's a virus that can infect normal people who can then give birth to Diclonius children, but then we don't ever really meaningfully explore that in any way. But maybe that's the big threat, or maybe there's just not a big threat and we can live harmoniously together. Who the fuck knows? This show doesn't. Lots of things, none of which get explored or even feel cohesive, but could be interesting. Could be kind of interesting if this show gave a single fuck about nuance or depth in any way. For example, you got Lucy, right? One of the main characters. And you got kind of the makings of an interesting character if you remove toddler mode, which just is wildly unnecessary. Like they need to have multiple characters have amnesia to make this bullshit plot work. But okay, remove that and with Lucy, you have a character abused and exploited and has done a lot of murders, but there's also a great degree of humanity and wants to embrace the humanity, but through their mistreatment has ended up lashing out with violence quite often and has done things that they're deeply, deeply ashamed of. Okay, all right. You could tell an interesting story there, right? You could tell an interesting story where it's like, look at the sort of nuance. This is clearly a troubled individual who has done heinous things, absolutely awful, and they cannot be excused. But is there a way to reach any type of redemption, any type of reform and rehabilitation? Is that even possible for somebody who has done so much? And then you also bring in some questions of nature versus nurture. Meanwhile, people who might be afraid of the Diclonius, right, have decent reason, but then their fear and how they lash out then further propagates the Diclonius response and the violent response, and it's just a terrible cycle, right? And so it's like I understand your fear or concerns. However, that is not the best way to handle it. You can have interesting things. You never get an ounce of that. Not even a lick. It is, yeah, Lucy has killed a lot of people, but like, they're a good person. They're good because it's so black and white. Meanwhile, all the discrimination that like Lucy faces is just with the most evil motherfuckers you've ever seen. Like, you are either pure good or pure evil in this show, and there is not nuance. There is not nuance. Even like, oh, bullies when she was young who are like, ha, you're a freak with horns. Okay, all right, makes sense. That's something that you could see. Not particularly original or interesting, but that could come up for children being bullies. But then the children are like, yeah, and so we're gonna kill the puppy you love. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, some puppy murder
about?
Doesn't seem like the go-to bullying strategy.
And it's just, it was so wildly unnecessary. Like, already they're the villains just for bullying, but the show needs that shock value, so they need to kill a puppy, which it doesn't add anything. It's just lazy shock value in a very black and white setting. It's like, hey, because these are the baddies, all right? And sure, Lucy has killed so many, but only 2 of the people she's ever killed matter. And the 2 people she killed, which, spoiler, it's Coda's little sister and dad. You might think that Coda really struggles with that. And he does, for a scene. He struggles with that for one scene, and then he's like, it's fine. And he's like, I don't even really know why, but it's fine. Because the show just is like, no, but Lucy good. Lucy good. And it's like, oh, so how do we wrestle with the awful shit she's done? Well, she's good. So it's unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? And it's like, is that really the direction we're doing? Like, What the fuck are we? Oh god, there's something interesting here. It's just not
Yeah.
at all executed within the show.
No.
We'll sort of fast forward and try to zoom through some of the main plot points, right?
Yeah. And one thing I should clarify as well, just so you're aware, Ram, the manga, this was a situation where the manga just straight up wasn't finished at the time they made the adaptation. And this was very, very common, hence the anime only ending. At the time of this anime, there were about like 7, 8 volumes out, and the anime adapted 7 volumes, which is around 70 chapters. So they shoved 70 chapters worth of stuff into this 13 episode with an anime only ending. And then there was an additional, 40 chapters after that. So that could explain some of the issues, but as somebody who blitzed through the manga in preparation for this, some of your grievances are addressed, others not so much.
Yeah, like if this really just fell apart at the end, then that would be a stronger defense. It is a mess throughout. It is dog shit throughout. So yeah, we get a handful of stuff. We meet like we said, Nana, who is another Diclonius, and she's sent to get Lucy, maybe hunt her down, or at the very least find her. And she does, and then we have them face off against each other, and Lucy tears Nana apart, but doesn't kill her, because killing is just not gonna happen. At multiple times, they will have a Diclonius versus Diclonius battle, right? And in each instance, there'll be some piece of dialogue talking about how easily they could kill one another, right? And at no point is it like, but I will show mercy. It is, I could so easily kill you in a single instant, and I want to kill you right now, and I'm going to try to kill you, but I'm not going to try to kill you through the head exploding shit or anything like that. I'm gonna choke you out. The nice slow one that can be interrupted at any point. And then, oh no, it got interrupted. Or like, I'll dismember you, but you're Diclonius, so you'll be fine. And these things happen multiple times. So that happens. And then Nana eventually just becomes friendly and gets introduced to and joins the family, basically. There's multiple episodes that are just flashbacks. Like, there's 2.5 episodes, and these are late episodes.
Correct.
These are late episodes. Like, I think it starts at 9. From 9 to 13, 2.5 of those episodes are flashback episodes, where 90% of the episode or more will be a flashback. Which those probably should have happened earlier, probably if we're doing, or maybe, I understand you can have one. You can have one where it's like, let's do a big old flashback episode late in the game. 2.5? That's a lot. That's a lot for your final act. When half of your final act is in the past, it's a bit much. Those ratios feel a bit off. But okay, we need more threat. Bando, he gets demolished, but he doesn't die.
No, in fact, I would say he gets demolished the worst out of most of the people in this anime that live.
He's just human. He shouldn't be able to live, but he does. And he gets demolished more. I don't know why this show is so afraid of killing any character that it's given a name and multiple scenes to. It's terrified to do so.
But Rem, then you can't show off the cool bionic accessories they all get.
None of them are important, cool, or relevant. They just exist. Everyone gets a bionic arm, and none of them matter.
Well, he also gets bionic eyes. Isn't that
and
nice?
It doesn't matter.
That means he gets to wear sunglasses all the time now.
It's so fucking trash. And it just, none of it goes anywhere. None of it does anything. None of it is meaningful. Eventually, it's like, okay, if Bando isn't the threat, if Nana isn't the threat, we need a new threat. And so, in episode 11, I guess at the very end of episode 10, but really in episode 11, they're like, okay, we need to introduce the big bad for the first time ever.
Yes.
And it's like, oh, homie, we got 3 episodes left. Shouldn't we work with what we have? And they're like, no, we need to introduce some new shit. And so we get introduced to Mariko. There's lots of lore. None of it matters for the purpose of this podcast. Truly, none of it matters. All you need to know is that instead of 2 meters, her reach is 11 meters. And instead of 4 hands, she has like 28. All right?
Yeah.
She has 28 invisible hands. So she's extremely powerful. They also have a bomb inside of her to make sure she cooperates. And so all of that's in play, okay? all of that just dropped on you in episode 11.
Yep.
And it's like, all right, go hunt her down. So Marika goes and is confronted with Nana, right? Nana is like, I'm gonna try to, I don't know, not stop it, because Nana doesn't believe she'll be able to.
Just be a bit of flesh in the way to be tortured and exploited.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's like, oh shit, are we gonna get our first meaningful death? Because Mariko, fucking crazy, eager to kill. She's so fucking ready to kill Nana. And once again, she's fucking crazy, dude. She just wants to have fun with it. So she's actually gonna toss around, do a little strangling for no reason, but not kill. You don't want the murder demon, the crazy big bad murder demon, to kill. That'd be too far. That'd be too far for the edgelord shock value murder show. And so don't get me wrong, they imply that Nana is dead a couple times.
Yeah.
They're like, oh man, look what Mariko did to Nana, definitely dead. Next scene, cut back. Oh, Nana actually alive. And then it's like, oh, Nana definitely died and got tossed off the bridge. Cut scene. And then a little while later, it's like, oh, turns out she's alive. It's like, yeah, I know. Mm-hmm. I'm aware. I felt no doubt in my mind at any point. And you get some similar moments when then Lucy confronts Mariko and they sort of stand off. And eventually, the chief of the organization, who is the biological father of Mariko, is able to take her and tell one of his subservients to hit the bomb button. And it's supposed to be a bittersweet moment. I don't care about any of these characters. I don't care. It hasn't done anything to develop them as characters. Granted, I guess the chief is the only character with any amount of depth or gray. They don't do a lot with him, and he's not particularly interesting, but he's by far the character with the most depth. It should be Lucy, but they are terrified to give Lucy depth.
Well, not in the anime at least, and the stuff that comes in the manga takes its time. Let's just say.
So eventually, Coda and Lucy, they say their goodbyes and share a final kiss after doing a big lore dump, right? And Lucy's like, I would destroy the planet unless I sacrifice myself. So that is what I must do. And she goes to all of the soldiers and lets them fire upon her. And we see one of her horns break off in the sky. But we didn't see her die, so you know she's alive. Once again, it's heavily implying she's dead. It's like, obviously that she's dead. Obviously she's not. She's not.
Yeah.
It's just, like, the show, I wish I could emphasize how often this show does the exact same formula. Because in the later episodes, it'll hit like 4 or 5 times an episode, where it will imply a character has died, cut to another scene, and then we'll see that they're alive. It is baffling. It is wild how often that exact thing happens. That combined with a crazy character just toying with another but not killing them even though they want to and could easily. Those are like the 2 pinnacles of this show, pretending that it has any danger. But it's so obvious it doesn't. Everyone lives happily ever after, and then, someone's at the door. I wonder who it could be. And it's implied that it's Lucy. The shit is ass, my guy. This script is so bad. The ideas are fine, and sometimes, even with the storytelling, it'll show that, like, a little bit of effort went into it, but the script is so bad. The storytelling is so shit. holy fuck. I hate the characters. I hate the story. I hate the structure of the story. It's bad. It's bad. The only reason it could have ever been popular is because in 2004 it was one of the edgier anime that was available. All right. And so it built notoriety. And then for some people, technically it's not all just the notoriety. It's also if you are a lonely teenage weeb who a love triangle is enough to feel like depth, right? Which, hey, that's not even just an anime thing. That's often the case for a lot of young adult fiction. Just add a love triangle and man, wow, that's such a deep, interesting story with deep, interesting characters. It's not. That's not how that works. If when you're 12 or younger, it's okay to like this and be like, wow, it's so intense and adult. If you're above 17, and that's me being lenient, oh Lord. Oh, sweet Christ.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it in the first half of this episode, but yeah, this came out in summer of 2004, and when you say this was the edgiest thing, you're not entirely wrong. The second season of a show called Gantz, which has some similar edge to it, was airing at the time. But again, 2004 was definitely an era where, if we're talking specifically for Western audiences, because that's kind of the perspective we're coming from here, the other thing that was that was about as popular outside of a 2004 girl love show was maybe Girls Bravo, and that it was just a pure horny rom-com nonsense type of show.
Yeah, see, this has blood and tits.
God, if people are turned on by anything in this show, they need to really self-evaluate.
Once again, like, I'm fine with the sort of like opening scene of her being naked and killing everything. And it doesn't even like really sexualize it in those instances. And I'm like, yeah, this is
if anything, that opening scene is designed to make you as uncomfortable as possible.
Yeah, but then later it's like, whoa, I accidentally touched your boob. Oh, well, I guess I gotta undress you now. For some reason, Mew is fondling Yuka. Oh, just so quirky. So quirky. And then later on, it's like, a character is like, yeah, this is what my stepdad did to me. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, no, like, if anybody is thinking about going to watch this show, those, like, disclaimers I put at the beginning, I meant them. I meant them very much so.
And
every
it's
disclaimer.
Not worth it. It's not worth it, y'all. And once again, it's not because it goes against, like, the sensibilities or anything. Like, hey, man, I love some irreverent shit that pushes some boundaries and makes me uncomfortable. That's rad as hell. If it's got to have a point. You got to be doing something with that, all right? You can't just... This truly is vapid shock value and hardly anything else.
Yeah. And I think what's extra funny is in 2004, there are some all-time great hits of anime. It's just that this one particular part of 2004, this is what you got.
Yeah, and I think this would have been better as like 100-minute movie. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Cut a couple characters, cut a couple plot lines. Just sort of simplify, because I have a note. It was around episode 8 where I was like, it's crazy that we're 8 episodes in. It's not that it was like, oh, what a breeze right through. No, it was a slog. But I was like, how are we over halfway through? Nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Nothing is going on.
Yeah, and just remember, 71 chapters of the manga adapted into 13 episodes.
Oh,
so,
God.
In theory, they should have kept the most important parts. But the amount that was cut and the amount that actually made it through, it didn't really gel super well. But if you've only seen the anime, you might not know that. Like I said, I blitzed through the manga to try and get additional context for everything, and in 113 chapters, if they had the whole manga from the get-go, they definitely could have like condensed it into a much better story, like cutting out a lot of the extraneous bullshit. But
But I kind of think that it's impossible. Yeah, I think it's impossible for them to tell an interesting narrative with the extreme moral binary that they follow. Because that means that all the characters are the most shallow versions of themselves, either the most evil or the most good. And it means that the plot isn't going to explore those complexities that feel like they want to be explored with a story like this. But they won't be. They can't be if you're going to have that moral binary. It's just not how that's gonna work.
Yeah, and I'm looking through the mangaka's other works right now, and there's not a lot here, if I'm going to be honest. There's only one that I distinctly recognize, and of the ones that I distinctly recognize, it'll be interesting to make an episode about it, but it'll be interesting to see how how if you'll be able to tell is going to be my question. If you're going to be able to tell exactly when that comes up, because that will be funny for me. That will be very funny for me.
Oh God.
But yeah, Rem, this was one of the staples of the early 2000s, and based on your response and the fact that genuinely, and this isn't hyperbole, both me and Dylan have this exact same experience. We watched all of it back in the day, around the same time. When I told Dylan that this was what we were covering for this week's episode of the podcast, he was like, I only remember the opening scene of the first episode.
Yeah. Which, here's the thing. First, it's not even, like, particularly incredible, but it is definitely the best part of the whole show.
Correct.
Especially, it has you believing that it could. You're like, if this is where it starts, where does it go from here? Downhill is the answer.
And I mean, if you want to, you can read the manga so you don't have to sit through, a couple hours of that. Manga is a pretty easy breezy read, all things considered. You just have to get past the fact that it is a 2002 manga and it has the 2002 manga style. Folks who know. Eyes bigger than the sun. It's one of those manga
really big eyes. Really fucking big eyes.
Hey, Rep. They're toned down in the anime.
What the fuck?
Yeah, no, here, let me send you a picture of, like, a screen cap from the manga.
Because, yeah, the eyes, at least in the anime, they're taking up half of the fucking skull, alright?
Yeah, like, it is... Oh boy, it is a lot. It is a lot. Let's see. Here's just the first one that I came across. Because a lot of times, the anime tones it down. Here is one of them, and
yeah.
They are fucking massive. They are huge, and like that's not enough for me to fully like discredit a manga, right? Because art style isn't everything, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like, oh man, unless you have built up a tolerance for this kind of thing, it's gonna be hard for you to really get into it. And like, God, and to make matters worse, being able to actually watch this anime legally is near impossible right now. Like, I have a DVD of this somewhere lying around.
What
and
the hell? You have a DVD?
Yeah, I do.
Motherfucker.
It's in storage, I think, with a lot of my other like anime DVDs I collected from the early day. But hey, man, I got it used for like $3. How was I not supposed to take up that deal? And then, after watching it, I forgot everything about it. So, $3, maybe not the best $3 I ever spent, but, it was definitely one of those shows that I was like, yeah, I'll buy a copy of this for that cheap. Why the fuck not, But yeah, no, physical media is kind of the best way to get it Western side. I think there are some streaming services that have it depending on what your region is, but like it was removed from Crunchyroll, it was removed from High Dive. It was, it's one of those shows that's going to be difficult to watch unless you know where to go.
It's no great loss.
Okay, Rem, you can't say that.
You can probably find the opening scene relatively easy, and in that case, if you want to understand like the discourse about it, that's all you need to like understand it in a cultural sense. If you want to understand it on a deeper level, you don't. Turn back.
the manga's pretty easy to get a hold of. Yeah, like it was republished stateside like 2020, I think, roundabout. So you can get like the manga pretty easily in that regard. So that may be the easiest way to go through it. But it's one of those shows that was super, super prevalent, and now basically the elder weebs are the only ones who are going to really remember it. And if they do remember it, the one scene they're going to be able to recall is probably that opening scene. Like, I only have 2 data points for that, but I wouldn't be surprised if once people listen to this episode be like, what do I remember from this show? Oh yeah, the opening scene, and that's about it. Yeah, no, it is fascinating, like how prevalent this was, and then how quickly it disappeared for a lot of folk. But out of curiosity, Rem, with all that in mind, what do you think the weebs gave this anime?
7.4. Let's rip it. No, let's not
That's
rip it. Let's let's consider it. What's that? I wanted to see how I felt about like just ripping it, and I didn't feel good.
The second you finish, you're like 7.4 flat. You're like, oh wait, now hold on.
Yeah.
Give it some thought. Give it some consideration.
So I think that I think that most people who, even weebs, who start watching it now will agree that it doesn't hold up. But there will be a nostalgia factor, and there will be a horny factor.
There shouldn't be, but there will be.
Yeah. A little. There's an edgelord bonus and demerit that's sort of going to cancel itself out.
I
don't know. Maybe I do feel good about 7.4. Actually, I know it's always harder when they're older. It's always harder. It 7.39.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Rem, Elfen Lied, which I'm gonna, that's the pronunciation I'm committing to, by the way, if it wasn't obvious, because I'm fairly certain it's Germanic. Fairly certain. And anybody who speaks German in the audience can criticize my pronunciation as much as they like, because it's not great. But on Mal, 910,000 people rated this.
It's too many.
It was a staple for the longest time, and the OP is one of like the most iconic OPs from the era.
I hate how they use the OP in the episodes. Truly.
Oh yeah. Well, they overused it to hell.
Even if they used it like a quarter as much, because it does work as sort of like ambient music within the episodes. It does work. Doesn't work if it's the only thing you're pulling out. All right.
Right. But with those 910,000 ratings, Elfen Lied is sitting nice and pretty at 7.46.
I was going I was in the ballpark, but I was going the wrong way.
Yeah, and you're pretty much correct on your assessment of how people feel about this. A lot of the reviews are from like the mid 2010s, and the ones that are earlier are like there's a lot of people talking about what they enjoyed about it, and then a lot of people who are blindly defending it, saying it's not just a gory, bloody nude fest, but it's when people actually start addressing like the nitty-gritty details of everything is when people start getting disillusioned to
it's not
everything
just
in the show.
It's not just lazy shock value edgelord bullshit. It's also lazy romance drama slice of life bullshit. So, you gotta be disappointed no matter what genre you're in it for.
Oh god. Yeah, no, and a lot of the numbered reviews are this is a very top heavy score. A lot of people gave this an 8 out of 10, like a good quarter of them more or less. But there are a large number of people who gave this 6 out of 10, which as we know is condemnation in the weeb community.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, if we talk everything from 6 and below, about 18% of the ratings consider this bad. It's, the remaining like 60, 70, 80% that have a blind nostalgia for it or watched it back when they were really young and loved it and enjoyed it.
They're out of their damn minds.
I mean, I will say, you're not seeing a lot of people recently giving this a high score. Like, if I just scroll down by the recent scored reviews, I'm seeing a lot of 4s, 5s, 6s, the occasional 10. But if somebody gives this show a 10, I immediately click on their name and see what else they've given a 10. And by and large, a lot of them don't give anything below a 10, which is, not the best. It's not great.
If you give this show a 10, then you concern me. Not because you're into some, like, gross, dark, fucked up show, but just, I think that your media literacy is piss poor. And
Which is more and more common as the day goes on. And hey, that's part of why we do this podcast. To try and bully some people into having media literacy.
Yeah.
Because, it's got to be said, we need more media literacy in this day and age. I accidentally opened Twitter the other day, which, hey, don't do that. It's bad. The only reason I still have it installed on my phone is because occasionally I need to check the podcast one for messages and such. But I opened it and I saw a picture of like a bunch of people dead and we're like, I wonder how these people died, when it's not hard to tell.
Yeah.
And that made me upset. Granted, one of the deaths was a reference to, Star Wars A New Hope, with just some clothes and a lightsaber on top of them. But that, I feel like the lightsaber should have been a giveaway. Or it's like, oh, who writ the bloody message on the wall, when one of the dead corpses has blood all over one of their hands and they didn't die in a bloody manner.
Maybe that's what this show needed. It needed a lightsaber.
It needed a lightsaber, yeah. God, a lightsaber versus telekinetic. That is just Star Wars, isn't it?
Yeah, there we go.
That is just Star Wars.
Holy
God,
shit! When Darth Vader is a Diclonius.
God. That's not entirely incorrect. I know you haven't seen Star Wars. He doesn't rip people apart with the Force, though. God, that would be metal if they did. But Vader does, in most, extended Star Wars media, just absolutely devastate people with Force, snapping necks and doing all kinds of things. If you've never seen Star Wars, the one thing that you should watch from Star Wars is probably Rogue One. I think it's one of the best Star Wars movies because it's... to put it simply, it both matters a lot and doesn't matter at all what happens in the movie, and as an isolated film, it's pretty entertaining, and it has the coolest Darth Vader scene in all of, the cinema history. So, that's what I would say.
Yeah.
Why am I talking about Star Wars? Because it's more interesting and more entertaining than this show as a whole. So, yeah. Then I guess the final question I need to ask, Rem, which you don't need to because you watched the whole damn thing. Any chance you'd want to go back and review any of Elfen Lied or any of this author's other works?
Dear God, no.
But what if he improved with his most recent works?
Doubt.
Even if it's a story that he wrote a full 10 years later?
I have no confidence in this motherfucker.
No confidence, even though he wrote it 10 years later and it got an adaptation 2.5 years after he started writing it?
Look, I'm a firm believer that people can grow, people can change. With media like Elfen Lied, doesn't seem conducive to it. Does not seem conducive to it.
Even if it still has a Germanic word in the title?
That's not the main criteria I'm looking for. That's not the number one on my list that I'm seeking in my media.
Interesting. Well, in that case, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoy Remington finishing a series and being absolutely dumbfounded by how popular the series was, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcast and leave us a review. They mean the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if that is still not enough for you, twitch.tv/AnimeOutContext, where myself, Dylan, and Remington occasionally play video games very poorly. I am suffering on stream a lot lately. I had a full crash out. I'm sorry for that. But hopefully, future streams will not feature those crash outs. And if that is still not enough for you, patreon.com/AnimeOutContext, where you gain access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including the opportunity to be thanked live on the podcast. So, Rem, who we thanking this week?
Well, as always, we'd like to send our regards to all of our bland bitch protagonists, as well as our magical girls, who we really appreciate. But moving on, we get to our yandere waifus, who are ripping us apart with their invisible hands. And on that list we have, I finally listened to all 380 plus episodes, take my money, goddamn. Can Rem talk about the time Elisha has bears maul those kids? Gandalf wants to take Shaun's hobbits to Isengard, wink wink. Renamon was Rem's Judy Hopps moment. Shaun blocked my cock. Shaun, you have to slow down with the donates for Trump's next election is still a while away. You'll be okay for now, don't stress. Hope you didn't forget about your vampire past. Princess Cialis is sleepy. Calderius, Ryan Moody, week 25 of using my Patreon name to request code Geese. Boring Siren, Sparcy, that time I reincarnated as podcast host and forced to weeb. Remington, what was your original sin? I'm mostly alive. This is Shaun's grandfather, Henry Orange-Pilled Rollins. I seem to have forgotten his address, dear. What is it again? Don't tempt me. Don't tempt. It's too tempting. It's too tempting.
Don't do it. Do not dox me on a podcast.
Oh,
Rem.
God. The masculine urge to dox your fellow podcast host. Swaraj Ferdy, Jake Dent, Wolfire56, Laderd98, Lucky Stars, the King of Moe. God, Shaun would play Garfield Kart over transitioning. I can't believe I made an account for this. Wes Kane, Bento Kato, role-playing the entire anime out of context playlist, replaying the entire anime out of context playlist for a third time. It helps me sleep. Remington is right. Chinese Sean gooning in Kim Jong-un's cuck chair. Oh, Jesus Christ. My Little Horse Rem, Beach Episode and Harem Supporter, right, Shaun? Red Venom, Moe Piece of Trash, Seraphim the Shark Plushie, Dylan Appreciation Day, Aisha Gudgy, Blarf, Macaroni Uchiza, Daniel Riot, The Danish Viking will conquer the world with Renor Zoro as my navigator. Shaun ruined my happy sugar life, it was very traumatic, and I don't want to talk about Mr. Rollins anymore. Super Zoo, Erica McCorkle, Shaun Rollins, Link Jokerl, Shaun wants to give Spoon Man a thankin' yank. Rem uses the drums of liberation to free all weeps from bad anime. I showed my grandma, Anne Shirley, and she watched it all by herself. Did I turn her into a weeb? My Digimon is Mpreg Red-Pilled Rollins. Daddy Rem, tell me a bedtime story about Shaun's nut. Turban, where's our DBZ review, you ginger fuck? Rem is my favorite slutty giant booba cat girl. Stacy's mom, Amazing Muffin. Watching Requiem for Spoon Man at 0.5 speed. King Rich Rock. Pro tips out of context has run out of things to post will come back soon. Rhiannon Williams. Titan CNH. The Susanator. Rock hard for Geodudes. I talk to the receptionist. Yandere Neko. Anime. If Duolingo is making an anime, there will have to be dubs in like 40 different languages, right? Asks Mitsuka. Fern the Fern. G Bottom AK Bear Trap. Sorry for not changing the name, but new plan. I think I need to Batman my town. Rem doesn't completely hate my favorite shows. No waifu, no lifu. I forgot to change my Patreon name and made Rem call Shaun a bog trotter until you brought back the Chef No Musco tier as a bit. Humst, Cheese Monkey, Jax, Fenrir Foxhole, Professor Fox, Jam Hands, Glizzy Gobbler, Red Pill Child Kicker Rollins 2028.
My Christ.
Bakshin. Farmer Weeb wants Patreon members to visit Discord for a special opportunity. Ross Palmer, Cassidy, and now we move on to the Boy Wizard tier. What are they going to get this week, Shaun?
Shit. That's hard, because this is both our Halloween episode and also an anime that doesn't have anything super specific to give, and I've given candy in the past. You know what? I'm gonna give them a monster to dress up for Halloween, even though it's probably already passed. Next year.
Perfect. On that list we have Melnick Suzuki.
You get to be a goblin.
Domini Trigun, it will red pill even Rem.
How about a hag?
Titaro has decided to be a cat maid for Halloween.
I'm sorry, you're gonna be an imp next year.
Your friendly neighborhood commie.
Let's go with... why not an ogre? That sounds like fun.
Umbrasite.
Hey, good luck, you're gonna be a kraken.
Rem still needs to watch Bandori, It's Maiko, and Ave Mujiga, or else Kazumi will keep singing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star.
How about a wraith?
That mouse girl.
Let's go with a basilisk.
Truckhoon Operator number 42.
Ooh, dragon.
Everyone wants One Piece live action on episode 400.
How about a griffin?
Sammy K's here to remind you that you just lost the game.
A Loch Ness monster.
Roscop.
Oh, here's a good luck. Try being a questing beast.
Carver 271.
How about a bugbear?
Spoonman the Aristocrat is here for party quirks.
Yeah, sure, a banshee.
Power Cell begs for the wisdom of the great Glizzy Gloinker. Please, Shaun, we need guidance.
Arguably one of the most attractive Celtic monsters, Dullahan.
Monogatari has everything you ever said you want in anime. This week it has experimental visuals.
Kelpie.
Are you glizzy enough for the Gloinker Club?
Christ almighty, leprechaun.
Nurikos hashtag SONR soaking One Nut Rollins.
Let's go with a brownie.
Mike.
How about a homunculus?
Beethoven 1201.
Let's keep it classy. Let go Frankenstein's monster.
Tom.
How about, you know what? Dracula.
Silent Secondary.
You're gonna be the creature from Black Lagoon.
Miguel DeLeon.
You're going to be a mummy.
And Allfather offers Shaun for a purple pill to nullify at least one of the many red pills he takes every day.
How about a lamia?
And now we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler tier, whereas Joey Wheeler Shaun will tell you if you're getting a trick or a treat, and I, as Joey Wheeler, will tell you what trick or treat you get. On that list we have, what the hell, Shaun? I meant the ED arc of Mushoku Tensei, fuck.
I don't know why you're yelling at me for that. I never said you had to go and watch Mushoku Tensei. I just say a lot of people tell us to watch it.
All right, do they get a trick or a treat?
They're gonna. I mean, clearly they deserve a treat.
All right, and the treat you get is one of our editor's molars, straight from his mouth. He'll rip it out and mail it to you. Happy Halloween. Then we.
That's Jesus Christ.
Next up, we have follow anime out of context on Blue Sky. If Shaun hasn't followed me by now, then run. We'll add the Blue Sky to his outro. Obow.
You can have a trick.
And the trick you get is a pop shove it. Then
I now have a mental image of you, Remington Chase, attempting to do a pop shove it, and it is not flattering.
I hit him with a McTwist. Fuck them. Next up, we have piss on my body, whip off my flesh, fist down my throat, crawling on my knees because I know how you like it.
I guess you can have a treat, I think.
And the treat is that Shaun will gloink your glizzies respectfully.
What?
And last but not least, we have on everyone's soul, we all love potty quirks, even you, Shaun, admit it. Damn right.
You can have a trick and be happy for it.
And the trick here is, what's that behind your ear? It's your father who left to get milk 15 years ago and never came back. He was there all along. It's one hell of a trick. One hell of a trick.
I think that goes past trick and goes straight into abuse.
One hell of a trick. He was there behind your ear this whole time. Thank you all for tuning in. If you want to reach out for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can send an email over onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com.
Once again, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in. We love and appreciate you all very, very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Do 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 do.